Last time on Constant Chronicle, Bad Egg. After killing an old horse, starting a structure fire, and almost successfully fleeing the authorities, the 5 horsemen regrouped at the local temple of Urgathoa, where Rain killed the one guard who managed to follow them. Then Goon set off a barf-worthy stink bomb, so they all got naked and sent their clothes to be properly laundered, and while they waited, returned to plotting the total destruction of the darling metropolis. And now, Constant Chronicle Bad Egg continues.
Do you guys just want to go out the east gate, or do you want to go through the underground and try to sneak out through the tunnels and stuff?
I definitely want to put my clothes on first, but yeah.
I wasn't going to make you, but...
What is the climate of the local region?
Cold, temperate.
Well, then we might be able to find some niter.
Oh yeah, there's shit ton of bat guano just like literally everywhere.
Oh, we got one in the cave.
That is also true.
So are we planning on going down to talk to the rat folk, or do you guys want to go scoop up bat guano?
Can't we accomplish both of those?
There might be some bats down in the rat tunnels, maybe?
They might be pooping into the water down there, but... And of course, the sewers are full of human fecal matter. I don't know if that's... I guess probably not as useful.
We could hire some of the bat folk to collect seagull droppings, which is a valid alternative to bat guano.
Yeah, there you go.
So we need to talk to some dock workers.
Yeah, probably.
And also, the Ratfolk village is near that reservoir, also a body of water with seabirds, so they might have some near their village as well they can collect poop from.
So how do you guys want to present this idea of us, flooding one of their tunnels, draining a fair amount of one of their places of how they get their livelihood?
We're
let's talk
offering...
to the terrorists.
We're offering a free pro bono public works project.
Now, come on. I worked in the water where it will be actually more accessible for you.
Yeah,
Just lie and say you guys are going to put in public toilets further to town, and just be a trough they could piss in. That's all it really
They're
is.
going to say,
completely honest and say that we are modifying their sewers in order to improve the flow of water.
yeah, 360-degree aquatic view.
How about we'll kill your oppressors?
Yeah, let's talk to the terrorists.
Yep, to the terrorists.
All right, do you guys want to leave the temple? Like I said, how do you want to get where you're going?
Can we get there from the Urgathoan cellar? Or, I'm sorry, their sewer?
You can take the access from the Urgathoan temple down into the sewer and take the sewer around into like that subway area and then sneak into the tunnel that leads out of town if you want to go through that trouble. Now, I don't know how many times you guys have done that, so it might take some knowledge locals or dungeoneering to find your way. Or you can go out the east gate and just walk over there over the land. Like it's, you can easily spot the tents from looking at the horizon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, maybe we should just go above ground. What do you guys say?
Just get all the stink out of your clothes. No reason to go back down the sewers again.
Yeah.
Get shit on your shoes. We'll say they even if anyone wanted to send their shoes off, that's probably worth 400 gold. Also, they also cleaned your shoes. So, I mean, if you want to be all cleaned up, this is probably the best your outfit's looked in a while. So, you probably don't want to go down the sewers right away if you don't have to. So, yeah, you guys can just walk through the streets of the city. All you have to worry about is tourists and the occasional snakes wandering around. You can get through the east gate. Entering costs money, but exiting's free. So, you guys are free to leave the city of your own accord. You're adults. You see the Ratfolk village in the distance. There's a road that leads off that direction. Sort of south of the village, though, but it does go near it. You guys know it's north and south of here. You've been here for a minute. You guys want to head that direction?
I'm down.
I have no problem with you guys doing that. I don't even take a roll because you can see where you're going. Just walk towards Tent City. You guys can reach Tent City. There's rat folks milling about. The ones that are there right now that aren't at work. In the city currently, at least. So yeah, it's busy. The numbers are lower. There's been a recent fire, recent arrests and stuff. So the numbers are down, but there are still tents here full of families feeding their children. Old rat folk, young rat folk, middle of the range age rat folk. Various hair types, tail lengths, ear shapes. But they all live here and they're doing their damn thing. As you guys walk up, they are usually pretty friendly to outsiders, even though outsiders aren't usually friendly to them. So they won't treat you with any hostility as you approach. As long as you don't fuck with their shit, you're welcome to walk into their tent city and approach anyone you like.
Well, I'd say we're probably looking for a social gathering place where people might be sharing ideas, perhaps. But
a lot of the tents are connected.
City.
You guys have been here before. The only gathering place you've seen before are the places where food is served. So there's a place that serves like wharf dogs and fish fritters, stuff like that. There's a lot of groups gather in those places, and I mean the food in a lot of those places is donation, so it's free unless if you can't afford to pay for it, please do. There's a community of poor folks taking care of each other, but that's where a lot of people are gathered because everyone loves to eat. So I guess either there or near the water is the best place to find a bunch of rat folk.
I have an idea for the production of explosives. There is a technique called a niter bed that was invented in Charleston, South Carolina.
In some other parallel universe.
That involves a specific technique of piling up excrement and urine in a way that produces valuable saltpeter. And I believe that these rat folk would be excellent students of piling up urine and excrement.
And they already have access to a sewer, so
Yeah.
all the piss and shit they could ever want to work with is available to them. And you can convince them to start collecting piss and shit.
Yes, I believe that it may be difficult to get them to part with such valuable ingredients, but I believe in the charismatic nature of my companions to explain this.
Sure, and at least 2 members of your party have purse strings that I feel like can probably pull this in the direction that you guys desire as well. So yeah, you guys are among the rat folk. If you want to pitch this to any one person or group of people, you're more than welcome to.
Can I do a perception check on some of the rat folk in the, crowded areas?
Sure.
See if anyone has singed whiskers or have an acrid smell about them, as if they might be potential bomb makers. That's a 9.
You might even, with that 9, see some singed whiskers, but there was a fire here recently, so it's hard to tell if these people just look like they were burnt and smell like a smoke and sulfur because they were part of these tent fires that happened recently, or if they were part of a bomb-making group. So unless you want to actually confront them about that, yeah, you can't tell from just smelling them.
I absolutely support walking up to people, pointing at them and shouting, "Are you a terrorist?"
Or anything like supporting this terrorist group or like?
Like they would graffiti their own tents?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's more of a gang thing.
What we could do is the grandfather and child. They know anybody who's radical.
And those are the people you didn't kill, and I think you paid them, so they might have good feelings about you guys.
Only 14.
Yeah, Rain doesn't know, can't seem to look, they all look the same to Rain, all these rat folk.
Stupid rat folk.
Yeah, he doesn't see them here, unless somebody else wants to roll some kind of roll local or perception to find them.
Haha, this is my time has come. Knowledge local. I remember things about places a bit, perhaps.
If the fates allow.
21.
Oh yeah, you can find the old man and child if you go back to that fish fritter place where they always hang out. As long as you guys don't mind hanging out there a while, they'll show up after work, so you guys might be there an hour or two, but you'll see some rat folks you recognize.
I go to the kitchen and say, everybody's fish fingers are on me till I leave, okay? Just give me the bill at the end.
Fish fingers! Instead of fritters, make them in a finger shape. I'll start making them that shape now because you suggest this. What a brilliant idea. A finger of fish. Because it's more edible, you can dip it easier. I love this. This is brilliant. He starts making fish fritters in the shape of fingers now because of your brilliant suggestion. Are you paying for these? Are you doing the donation to support this fish fritter lifestyle?
I'm paying for everybody's fingered fritters.
Alright, well, it's super cheap. If you just want to throw down a number, I mean, any number would cover it probably. They usually, like I said, it's usually donation, so any number you say will suffice.
100 gold.
That's more than they usually get in a day. So the now uniquely shaped finger fritters will come out and feed anyone that comes in at no cost to them. It's on the house. If anyone even offers to donate, well, they'll still accept it, of course, but it's on the house otherwise. You guys will make good friends while you wait for the old man to show up. He'll arrive, enjoy the fact that there's free finger fritters, see you guys, and of course, you guys paid for the meal last time you're here. He's here again, there's free food. Pavlovian, but he's going to associate you guys with free fish meals.
Slowly brainwashing the community.
Yeah, you don't even have to go up to him. Old man and his son will come over and see you guys because you're outsiders from out of town. He just wants to be friendly because he knows you guys from before and is there to offer any information and friendly conversation you want.
Give them away too creepy.
Yeah, Rain, you're intimidating and creepy looking, I'm sure. But with this friendly group in front of you, it seems like they can hold you back if they have to. So, who wants to say what to this man?
Are the fritters fried?
Yes, pot full of oil.
Yeah, I'd like to ask the cook where he gets his oil.
Diplomacy.
I rolled a 16.
He'd rather not say.
Okay.
I look at him and then I put I just take a bag of 100 gold out of my pocket and I put it in his hand and then I point to Goon again.
Let's roll another diplomacy with that 100 gold. You can have let's say with 100 gold you can have a plus 10 diplomacy right now because they're poor.
With the plus 10, I got a 24.
Okay, it's used oil from the city that they throw out. It's garbage oil.
Excellent.
They recover this garbage oil and use it to cook in. Because it's only a little dirty. And the stuff in there is just pieces of food. He even sells the crispy bits as a snack, or he hands them out for free when he runs out of fish fritters. You can get a plate full of scraps.
Used oil is perfect for my scheme.
Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Let's ask him about maybe potential terror bombing cell, and then also maybe people that would be willing to help us with our shit excavation.
That'll be a diplomacy, whoever does that.
I'll try. Nope, not gonna be great. That's gonna be 11.
The old man, who we'll call Eggbell for now, that's what he's calling himself. That may not have been his name before, but it's his name currently. Maybe Ratfolk changed their name a lot, or maybe he's trying to hide his identity. Doesn't seem to want to give up any information about that. And he tells his son to keep quiet.
I'm gonna put 100 gold on the table, and I'm gonna point at my friend and give a little bit of nod.
Alright, so whoever wants to take that 100 gold and ask a question, you get a +10 on your roll if you ask a question right now with a 100 gold bonus.
I'll re-ask again. I'll be like, does this help open up your memory a little bit? Well, 19.
He'll look back and forth at his son, and then you can tell he wants to take the money. And the young one will say, "Darling guard have been cracking down on us lately. We fear this might be a setup. Well, how do we know we can trust you?"
Do some cocaine.
We wanna fucking kill them. Just right there.
I'll honestly tell them, like, they've been after us as well, and we just had one of them for dinner last night.
Do you have any proof on you? He doesn't suggest that you're a guard, but that you killed one?
Someone took some of his weapons and armor, right?
Yeah, I took his.
Alright, I think maybe I would ask Rain to show the armor.
Yeah, that's bloodstained as fuck, yeah.
You pull out some bloody armor that no one's wearing and be like, "Yeah, we beat up a guy and this is his armor."
Killed him. I killed him.
Probably does have blood on it, right?
Yeah, that's some evidence. And you guys maybe don't look like the guard type. You don't seem like Jim Darling fans. He'll whistle a tune and see if anybody whistles along, but I don't think we have any Jim Darling fans in the mix, do we? Any of you guys are serious Jim Darling heads?
No.
You won't recognize this deep cut and sing the next part of it then. And so he'll start thinking maybe he can trust you guys, of course, and take the 100 gold and say, "What do you want to know?"
People that have any sort of bomb-making skills, tunneling skills, and then we also need a group of youngsters, maybe not youngsters, but workers to help us acquire a fair amount of species.
Big tall order. Roll me diplomacy on that triple order there, and I'll let it be for all those three things.
I got it's only a 13.
Alright, do you guys want to sweeten that pot with some money? You can always throw some money on right now if you guys want to do that. Another 100 gold. You can tell it's not going well if you want to pile on.
Throws 100 gold down as well.
It looks like a lot of the youngsters that were involved in bomb making and terrorizing the guard have been rounded up. That was part of the reason for the fires and the arrests in town in their tent city recently. A lot of the troublemaking youngsters were rounded up by the guard. So a lot of them are in prison now. If you can break one of them out, they could help you. Other than that, he knows that a lot of them got their supplies from east of here, the city of Perleone. City full of crime and stuff, so you're able to get supplies for bomb making from there. That's where they used to, but it's way down Assassin's Road. Either that or you have to cross the reservoir to get over there. But if you can do that, that's where they got their supplies from, and if you could free them, they could help you make them, but they're currently in prison in the Darling Metropolis.
How do you guys want to do this? Want to break those little bastards out from you?
Or see if there's anybody that wants to help us, like family members.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the poop collecting part too. He doesn't know for sure, but if you guys seem to have a lot of coin, and with enough coin you can pay people to do anything, that's the only reason these Ratfolk work for the Darling Metropolis, who they hate, at least most of them. So if you can pay more than the Darling Metropolis can pay to do whatever job they're paying them to do, they'll probably collect shit and piss for you if you need them to.
I mean, we have all the things that we need to accomplish our goal. The City of Crime seems like it probably would be well off, and it would cost us more to buy.
If there's anything you know about criminals, is they're always out to make a profit.
Yes.
Do you think there's any other kids who haven't been arrested who would be interested in helping us break out their buddies, or do you think they all are arrested?
Definitely possible. I mean, there's still some young folks around. Maybe they weren't fully radicalized, or maybe they didn't get caught with any paraphernalia, but still, maybe they're friends with these folks and willing to do something about it. Maybe with the diplomacy, you can rile some of them up. That's definitely a possibility, or knowledge local, and those kind of things. There's a lot of rat folk. Their numbers are large. They procreate a lot. Their lifespan is usually around 30 years. Some of them live a little bit longer, but they fuck a lot and have a lot of kids. So there's a bunch of young rat folk around that weren't arrested, because they need some of those rat folks to go do jobs in town. So you might be able to sweep up, with enough money, you could probably sweep up anybody. But also, there might be some that are angry.
Disposable workforce.
As long as you're willing to pay them more than the Darling Metropolis, yes.
What is it?
Classic labor struggle.
Theoretically, I could teach most of what they would need to make bombs, and probably how to sneak. I'm not entirely sure what terrorism is, but it sounds awesome. I'd like to learn that myself.
I'm a dragon. I've always wanted to do a terror.
Emotionally, I am absolutely 100% a dragon.
In your heart, you're a dragon. In your mind, you know you're not, but in your heart, you think you are. You hope you are. You wish you are. The dragon
What
tree.
do we need right now, guys? What are we hunting for?
Break those guys out of jail, right?
Well, I mean, that might...
Do we need them, or would we like to maybe hire?
If you break them out of jail, you have guys that already know how to do bombs, but
Yeah.
your friend Goon said he can also train these other young kids to do it also. If you don't want to break kids out, this might take more time to train, like some weeks of Goon doing some training with these young kids to raise a new group of bomb makers, but either one is a viable plan.
We can have the older bomb makers train the younger ones if we still want to.
We don't need someone to train the younger ones. We already have someone to train the younger ones. We could, does anyone have any knowledge of the jail? Because
You guys have passed by the jail. You don't have any knowledge of the inside, but you guys have seen the outside in town. You've walked by it. You're familiar with where it's at in town.
If we blow up the people we're trying to save, or we could just go ahead and train the youngsters like you're planning on training them anyway.
Would need as many bomb makers as possible if we're planning on destroying the city. We're going to need as many as we can get.
Let's do a 10 gold signing bonus, 1 gold per day kind of.
Per diem.
Yeah.
And why don't we, and I'm alright as well, why don't we also buy a mining force to hollow out the tunnels to blow them at the moment we start blowing out the other parts of the city. So it's all at once.
Perfect. And also, a lot of those tunnels probably have bat guano, which would be added to our explosive workforce. And if anyone asks why we are making so many explosives, then we just tell them that it's needed for the civil engineering project that we are providing to Darling City pro bono.
What we do is we lie, see?
And if these guards who are questioning us about our activities want to go to Mr. Darling himself and say that this free engineering project has been canceled because this guard didn't want to allow the workers to do their work, then he can go right ahead.
He can come talk to us himself if he has to.
Yeah, the key to solving a problem of destroying the city is to set up a legitimate civic engineering process.
Just convince everybody to let us dig wherever the fuck we want.
I think that
That's a longer
we should
con.
maybe have a diversion going on as well to maybe draw some of the attention away from us. I'm willing to go back through the town and start causing some mayhem on the docks so they think there might be an attack from that area, and then that'll protect us coming from the complete opposite side.
Set a bomb off over there. And
Well, we don't need to set off any the final
right.
The only distraction we would need is to distract them from the fact that we're building underneath them, I guess. And as long as we lie our way through it and convince them that we're expanding the sewer system, and then do a bunch of at least go up to them, start applying for permits and stuff, but continue the work the entire time.
So let's throw their giant festival at Urgatho and Temple, where we would need like an increase of sewer flow and so on and so forth, and we would have the authorities keeping an eye on the Urgatho and Temple and not so much what's going on outside. I just want to have a party.
Well, I mean, yeah, we could do that right before. Well, it's just that we need to.
Here's a question. How close is the relationship between the magistrate or whoever is in charge of issuing permits with the Urgatho and Temple?
Knowledge local.
We haven't had any trouble in the past throwing a party.
College locale? 19.
Not exceedingly close, but money greases the wheels. Like, if you've got the money to pay the fines or to pay the permits.
Could probably pay for the permits, or alternatively, or invite people are actually writing these permits to an awesome party at the Urgatho and Temple, where
Special treatment.
yeah, they get special treatment. So it's lobbying in order to either get a discount or have the permits be quiet or whatever we want out of these officials, so that we can perform our massive acts of sabotage out in the open. I like this idea because it's all just one giant trap.
So it might take either setting up 3 different things or splitting up and doing different things. It's, there seems to be a lot of orchestrating you guys need to do right now. But I guess a lot of it seems to be money-oriented or diplomacy-oriented. So tell me where you guys want to start. So you guys seem to have formed a larger plan. You're still here in Fish Fitter Town right now, eating fish fitter fingers. Triple Fs.
Well, let's get the workforce together, and then we'll go from there. How about that?
So step 1 is hire a bunch of young folk. You want this is to collect poop and piss? That's just money and diplomacy. Whoever's got money and diplomacy and wants to do that. And then tell me how many people you're trying to hire. We'll see if that works or not.
Also, to expand the tunnel out to the reservoir.
I mean, pick a job per group, and then tell me how many people you want in that group. And if you want to do a separate job, pick a different group and say how many rat folk you want on it, and give me a money amount that you have ready to pay. As long as you can pay them up front, I think the rat folk are willing to do whatever. As long as you're willing to pay them more than they're being paid in town.
How long would it take for us to complete the tunnel between the two using a certain number of workers?
It depends on the certain number of workers.
Let's say 10 people working 12-hour shifts.
feel like that might be a week or two. That's a pretty good number if you're just trying to. You're just talking about the tunnel from the water to where the tunnel already exists to help bring water into the underground, right? That's the only. We're just talking about digging the ditch.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're just talking about digging the ditch, they can do that in a week or two.
If we go with that.
But that will flood their like work entrance into town basically, so they'd be forced to either swim into town through that or go into the East Gate after that.
So I was planning on doing maybe double that, so 20 people working a full 24 hours. 10 hours on, 10 hours off.
If you're paying enough rat folk to work, they can accomplish that. Yeah, it's just a big ditch. If you want to, if someone wants to front that cash.
We'll need this and this upgrade.
Yeah, we'll need all of that because we'll need to flood the tunnels, massive short period of time.
Yeah.
In order to properly accomplish our plan.
All right. Well, do you think you can accomplish your plan in 1 week? Because I have, with my plan to cut this trench, it'll take 1 week. So you guys, we think we can figure the rest of the shit out in a week?
Probably like 2 to 3 weeks, like in total.
Alright, so I don't need that many workers then. I only need like 10 workers, and that'll give us 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then
it'll be done right at the right time.
And then we'll get the other workers to go down below, and we'll start working on the subterranean floors as well.
You just want them burrowing and cracking walls and stuff?
Yeah, we grab
Piling up rocks in certain areas, like blocking off certain walls, if you're trying to control the flow of water. You're trying to block off some chambers, open up others. You guys want to help direct the water upward, I guess, is the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how much would that be to do that roughly in 2 weeks? How many rat folks in roughly 2 weeks, and how much gold?
It's probably a bigger crew than the trench. Is a little bit harder work, because that's moving stone, not just earth.
Yep.
So it might take a crew double the size to do equal amount of work. And there's 4 different levels.
We can offer our own payment.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm fine with
We
that.
have to decide this. We can,
No,
and whether or not they hop on board, that's up to them. I was thinking a 10 gold signing bonus and then 1 gold per day. Probably more than they're making sweeping streets in, Darling Metropolis.
But the work might be more dangerous, and they could definitely get arrested for it. It depends how desperate they are.
Well, if it's underground, do the cops go underground very much?
Very rarely, but sometimes they patrol the tunnels of the subway, and sometimes if there's a disturbance, if they're actually using pickaxes and making noise, someone might be sent to investigate, which they might have to make some noise to dig these tunnels.
I would say that whoever is sent to bribe/convince the local poobah who might be in charge of giving permits, we might need to cut them in to our totally legitimate civic project to get them motivated to not send guards after the suspicious noises underground.
There's also going to be plenty of noise above ground because my guys are going to be digging the trench that leads all the way to the
Well, the
city.
trench is outside of town in the tent city, so no one in Darling Metropolis is going to hear that. And that's just like shovels going into dirt, and it's far away.
Frenchie, we get Frenchie to do the bribe.
Vic Von Claude.
To do the bribe. We get Lilith to do the trench. We get Lilith to do the back guano/bomb teaching. Me subterranean, mining, and that seems like a pretty good split.
What's Iggy doing?
And whatever Iggy's doing. Sorry.
Moral support.
Yeah, you're pretty used to
He's a
living
good
in
luck
You can
charm.
help.
Yeah.
Iggy could probably help me out.
So you're talking about division of labor here. So you want to split everybody up and send everybody off to do one job, and that way you guys can all complete them at the same time and have like a project completion date. Like in 2 weeks, we all complete these jobs all at one time. So let's do our split up now. We'll start with Vic Von Claude. So you will leave the Ratfolk village. If you'll leave your allies back there, everyone else is going back into town, but I think underground. You're the only person going into town. So Vic, you're going alone back into Darling Metropolis. You can either use that Ratfolk tunnel you know about to sneak in, or you can go to the East Gate and either pay or find some other, or sneak in, or something else. But you're going alone back in the city, it looks like, to figure out how to bribe some officials. So you leave the Ratfolk village, you walk through. I assume nothing happens. I'll roll it though, but it's a pretty quiet area. It's some bad weather. It's like raining on your way back into town, so you're a little wet by the time you reach the East Gate. And of course, they want some money for you to get in. It's only 50 gold, so it's not much. It's a fee in case you're a merchant or something, and you don't seem to be carrying any goods. They won't charge you more for whatever they think you're selling, unless you have some other way to get in.
Yeah, I'll give him their 50.
Yeah, easy breezy. That's nothing to you. Yeah, you're back in town now. So you got your monkey friend and yourself, and you're back in town. You can, of course, go to the bank to withdraw more money if you need to, but then after that, you can try to figure out the governmental workings of town to bribe somebody, to ignore what's going on underground.
Yeah, I'll head to the bank.
Easy breezy. You know where the bank's at. They'll recognize you as a regular customer lately. So then they'll make sure there's no glamour on you. They'll do all their security measures and stuff. Make sure you're not an imposter. Ask for your secret code word, all the things they normally would do. But as long as you have all the proper credentials, you can get any money you need out of the bank. You've got a bunch. You've got some sort of secret benefactor, and your family money is somehow still pouring into your account. So
I actually like to ask the bank manager for just a letter that explains my high amount of assets. Because there's no real reason to take all this gold into the magistrate's office. It's a little gauche.
You want credentials, basically, from the bank. Someone saying that you are a person of wealth and status. Roll me diplomacy. That shouldn't be a problem. That you're a regular customer and you do have a lot of money, obviously.
23 diplomacy?
That's high enough, along with your immense wealth. They'll send along a note saying that you are a customer of note at this bank, and that should treat you with respect as a wealthy person in town, of course. May or may not buy you much special access, but at least you do have this note saying you are somebody from the bank.
Yeah, and I'll withdraw another, let's see, I had about 500, so let's spend, 200 total, so let's blow out 700, give me an even 1,000, big sack of gold.
It'll be a little heavy, but not so much you can't carry, but yeah, you've got a big old fat sack of gold now, jingle jangling up against your leg, clank, 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 clank. It's obvious you're a baller now. You got a big fat sack of cash, but you still have plenty of money in the bank, so you're still a reputable customer there, and you got this note, you got some cash. Now you need to do is figure out how the government in this town works.
Yeah, I actually would like to ask the bank manager if they know who is in charge of overseeing public works in the southeastern quadrant of the city.
It's knowledge local or diplomacy?
Diplomacy to ask. I got an 8.
I don't know if it wasn't asked very friendly, or they kind of give you like a dirty look, like either you should know or they shouldn't tell you, but you get a dirty look about it, basically.
Silly, all banks deal with politics. Guys just being cagey.
He doesn't seem to want to talk about it.
That's fine. Knowledge local for the finest eating and drinking establishment in the southeast quadrant of the city. 19.
Yes, the Yellow Snake in the southeastern quadrant of town is probably the most popular with the wealthy and elite. There are several restaurants in that part of town, touristy places for the dregs kind of go to. But the Yellow Snake is a rooftop establishment, high atop a fancy dwelling tower here in town, and you have to have an invite to get in.
Oh, well, time to just go there then.
Without an invite. Nice.
Yeah, you can head that direction. You can be given directions to where it's at and head down there. Now, it's a residential dwelling, so to get inside, you'll need to be a guest of someone or have a dwelling indoors. Now, of course, if you have a dwelling indoors, you can go right up to the bar because you own a place inside. So if you would like to talk to an agent, you can always do that. Or if you want to try to find someone to make you a guest to bring you in with them, you can do that, inquire about other tenants.
Is there anybody rich milling about?
Not milling about, but coming and going. The people will go into the building and leave the building.
I'll go to the agent.
It's a 7-story building. They have 7 rooms for let right now at a very high price, but you're a wealthy man. At 6,500 gold a month, you can rent a place here in this Yellow Snake Tower. Of course, you need a security deposit up front with that as well, which is half that amount, 3,250. So it'll be 9,750 for the whole shebang for a month. But if you do that for the next month, you have access to that rooftop bar with all the elites. So all the elite of the southeast part of town, at least.
I'm going to have to consult my banker, work out fund transfers from Airbnb, etc. Talk to trust funds, my family.
Sell some stock.
Exact them all.
Whatever else.
I'll be back soon to inquire about one of these fantastic apartments.
I mean, judging by your well-laundered clothes, he assumes you have money, and of course he's very excited about your investment and welcomes you back anytime. You have a fat sack of coin on your side, so all during your interview you were treated like the rich man you are. The interview seems to have gone well. Meanwhile, Rain, you were taking a group underground. You have some of your own money now, so how much money are you spending to hire this group of, what do you want, 20?
If we're going to get everything done at the same time, we're going to need a larger group to finish the first floor, the middle floors fast, and then I'm going to work on the lower and the upper floor at the same time after we get approval.
20 will be easy. More than that we can do. It'll be harder to do.
Alright, let's get a solid crew of about 30, and we're going to go to the middle ones.
Alright, so that'll be 300 up front just to get them hired, and then 1 gold per day each after that. So 300 gold up front, and then 30 gold a day. So 330 for day 1, another 30 for day 2, etc., etc. But you can take them out there on day 1. You want to go through the secret underground tunnel they all know about?
Yep.
That's fine, so that'll get you underground. Which level of underground are you going to first?
The middle one.
So sort of where it's like the bottom part of the sewer in the old Ratfolk village. And what are you tearing down or building up down there?
We're actually, you know what, first we're going to dig out until we reach near the reservoir, and then we're going to block off other parts of the sewer to make it kind of in a funnel.
You want to create a funnel upward. It's like a straight tube, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
To suck the pressure to suck it.
But starting in the middle area. Now that's the area with the largest opening, so it's the most open air part.
Yeah,
So it might take a lot of stone to fill up a lot of that area, but you can start, I mean, this is day 1, we're going to go back around in the circle from all the different characters. But you can start doing that now with this group. As long as you've paid them 330 gold for the first day, you'll be down there doing that. You're actively trying not to draw attention to yourself.
Yeah.
Alright, roll me a stealth check. I'll let you roll it yourself with your bonus, even though it's the rats doing stuff. We'll say you're trying to tell them to sneak, and based on your stealth roll, that's how sneaky they're being doing this.
20 not natural.
Alright, so yeah, you guys are being very sneaky down there. Roll me a will save.
Okay, let's see what happens. 18.
You sort of start having like those cartoon visions of the rat folk looking like chicken fingers and stuff like that. Like that looks like a sandwich. So maybe you're just like hungry after long days of work down there. So you've been down there. This is the whole first day. You're really hungry. You're down there with rat folks. So you guys can stay down there and work, but obviously your tiger beast nature's taking over, making you want to eat them because they look like food. Or you guys can head back into Rat Folk Town and eat for the day and come back and rest and come back. So it's your call right now if you want to stay down there or go back to Rat Folk Town, rest and eat, and then come back.
I think we should track in the future. I'm gonna write. We're bringing rations, and I guess we're gonna go back now.
All right. So during that first day, Lilith, what were you doing?
Digging a trench from the reservoir, which
I mean, you probably weren't digging it yourself. You're probably paying some folks or ordering some folks to do it.
Yeah, hiring people, but it seems kind of pointless to do that if it's just going to be drained later on.
Well, I mean, the trench you're digging is to let the water from the reservoir go into the holes they're digging now. So they'll need that water. I mean, if they're going to flood the city. Yeah. So it's a valuable part of the plan. So, I mean, how many rat folk are you paying to dig this trench and etc.?
10 to make it take about 2 weeks.
And you're paying them a gold a day?
Yep, 10 is the signing bonus, and then 1 gold per day.
Go ahead and pay them for the first day, and they'll get started in the first day digging that ditch. You'll be paying them every day this happens. But, you know, you can be sitting there watching them drinking out, juice out of a straw if you want. You don't have to do anything. You can just, supervise.
I want to, keep an eye on things. I want to make sure that they're piling all the excess dirt on the sides to create a proper, ditch.
Like wall and stuff. Yeah, you can supervise the whole thing. You be very supervisory, make sure they're doing it right, watch over the whole thing, but otherwise you're gonna be working a lot less hard than they are. I'm sure it'd be definitely a supervisory role, but you can do that unless you do anything else. That's what you'll do, is watch these rat folks dig a ditch. You of course won't have visions of eating them, but at the end of the night you can either keep them working through the night and don't let them stop working, or you guys can also take a break and eat and rest and stuff. It's your call. You're the boss.
No, they get a break. We want to make sure we stick with the 2-week timeline. Originally I was planning on having enough people to work constantly, but if
you're trying to keep up pace, you want the plan to go off all at the same time. So I understand you're trying to time it perfectly. So yeah, are you buying everyone dinner, letting everyone fend for themselves? Are you watching over them while they sleep, and hoping they come back tomorrow, or are you keeping the group all together?
They've already got gold. I'm not worried about them.
All right, so you let them go do their own thing. Or you go back in town to eat and rest, or you stay out here in the Rat Folk Town and try to find a place to...
I'll stay as close to the excavation that we're doing. Yeah.
All right, so that's maybe just diplomacy to find a nice rat folk to let you sleep in their tent. But you're not as attractive as Cersei, of course, but you're not an ugly lady, and you're friendly enough.
I got a 21.
That sounds high enough to get some rat folk to let you sleep in their tent if they have room. It's not going to be comfortable. It's like sleeping in a homeless encampment, but you do have a roof over your head and company and warmth. Probably even a little meal of some, nothing fancy. A ball of rice. You're safe. You're near your workers. You'll be able to wake up and take them into work straight away tomorrow morning. No problem. Ziggy zaggy, ziggy zaggy.
I'll continue to do that, and I'll also spend 1 gold every night at the tent that I'm staying at to help feed the family that's housing
me. So it's room and board. That's even nicer if you're staying there. That makes it appreciate even more.
Or a fucking ball of rice. I want some fish or...
You might get a scoop of fish meat in there, but these are poor people. Just whatever they can scrounge up, they'll help.
With 1 gold a day, I think they can make me some.
Yeah, well, like I said, they'll do whatever they can do to make your stay nicer. They live in a tent, so they're just doing the best they can, whatever it is.
Yeah, hopefully get some fresh hay to...
You'll have the cleanest hay, and all. Even if it is, stinky fish, it is fresh stinky fish. And then we have Goon.
Basically, I'm going to be doing a moving lecture where...
Oh, sorry, you're doing the poop thing and doing the bomb thing.
Yes, well, before collecting poop, I want to see if there's the standard natural deposits of niter that form in cave walls where there's a bunch of bat poop.
I'll roll percentage on that. You have to go all the way down to where that sea serpent was, where there's stalactites where you guys got, where you encounter all those bats, where they fucked you up a lot. But if you go there, a lot of the bat guano does fall into the water, but some does stick to the stalagmites, and so yeah, I think in that area you could collect some. You might have to deal with bad attacks, the sea serpent, etc., but in that, the deepest part of the cave, it can be collected.
The problem with that is that if I bring a group of semi-defenseless rat folk, they're probably going to get eaten by bats.
So unless you want to outfit them all in something that has a high enough AC to prevent this shit from happening, or that ups their reflexes or something. Yeah, they're bat bites, and there's a shit ton of them.
Okay.
Or unless you have some way to like scare the bats away, so you can collect guano while the bats are scattered, like noise or light or something else that might scatter them might be the idea.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to bother with that. I'm just going to go and collect the effluent chamber pots.
So you're gonna go for just the sewer poop? Alright, yeah, that's very easy for you and the rat folk to collect. And are you paying this group, or is someone else paying this group to do this?
I hope someone else is paying this group.
Does someone leave Goon some funds to? We can. I mean, we have to. I know we've already split up, but if we want to assume you guys want to tell me you have left Goon some money to pay a group, I'll allow it. Has someone left Goon some cash?
Yeah, I would have Goon up with some money, so.
How much money would you have left Goon?
The other 300, so we'll say I took 1,000 out of the bank when I went to it.
So you got 300 gold to blow?
Well, if I'm given 300 gold, then I'm going to spend 300 gold.
And how would you like to have spent that? I know on labor, I assume. So describe how you'd like to divide that among your laborers.
I think that I want to have, let's say, 20 workers that are young people who I think might be good at doing shady, maybe intellectual tasks that are also shady.
Or maybe just like kids who are into starting fires?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. I mean, with the knowledge local, you can find a certain type of kid, but then to someone you want to pay them to hire them, I don't think it'll be hard. They're rat folk. You can find some rat folk who want to start some shit. That's not a problem.
I want to, go to the sewers and collect a bunch of poop and piss.
But to entice these people to do that, because it sounds like a shitty job, what are you paying them for their first day?
I'm going to do the same thing that I have witnessed with my companions and give them a bunch of money up front.
Yeah.
And then,
I mean, you probably haven't seen it because you guys all split up, but maybe before you split up, Vic Von Claude gave you business advice and was like, what you want to do is give them this much bonus and this much pay. But are you blowing your whole wad on day one?
No, I'm going to keep some of it so that I will have workers.
But you're blowing half plus 20 or 30 for how many workers you got. But you're paying them one gold each, and then you're paying a 150 bonus.
20 workers / my students in explosive trap making, basically.
So go ahead and subtract that money from your supply. They'll accept it. That seems like a decent amount to do this job. And they'll go with you day one to start collecting poop.
Can I also roll something so that I can explain organic alchemy processes to these rat folk while they are shoveling shit?
Yeah, I mean, it's just diplomacy because you're just trying to teach it to them. I mean, I know you have the knowledge, so it's diplomacy to see how well they take it or not, I guess.
I got a natural 20.
They get it. They understand poop bombs now. So the doo-doo bomb idea is catching on with your students. Alright, Vic Von Claude, day 2 of grease and palms and such.
Yeah, I'm headed back to the Snake Tower.
Go see the Asian again, visit the doorman, go to the bar on the bottom floor, the visitors, the tourist bar, or what?
Case the entrance for a little bit and see if anybody, interested makes their way in or out.
Interesting is definitely a way to describe the people that come and go from this building. I mean, a lot of them, like you, are obviously wealthy, dressed as such, and because it's Darling Metropolis, fashioned in such a way that shows opulence, fancily coiffed hairdos, lots of jewelry, fancy outfits. People that come and go from this building stand out from the usual tourists who are just running Chim-Darling merchandise or essence rags and buying tchotchkes. These people have money and live here and stand out as such. So you don't see them mingling with the crowds. They seem to be moving about with purpose. When they leave the building, they hop right into a carriage or head straight underground to catch a train, raffle conveyance. They seem to move about with much more purpose. Some of them have guards or entourage, but all of them are fancifully dressed and look as the elite look. They're wearing things that no one else would dare wear or could afford. Maybe it doesn't stand out to you because you're wealthy, but definitely they look different than the general people wandering about town when they come out of the building. Or go into the building. Most of them Vishkanyan, some human, some elves, some dwarves. But just like this town, a lot of it's human and Vishkanyan. The majority of the population is human and Vishkanyan.
But nobody who strikes me as eccentric.
Knowledge, nobility, if you're looking for someone that means... Are you looking for someone that matters? Is that the question? Or are you just looking for someone that's crazy?
A little bit of both.
Yeah. Knowledge, nobility would probably give you... Who of these people matters?
19?
That's pretty good. I mean, all these people are wealthy, so they matter to some degree. But with the knowledge of nobility, you can figure out who coming and going from this building it has a higher air of class than just money, and they like. Because, like I said, some people come out with guard or with entourage, or some people like are just dressed fancifully and they come out alone. There's some people that like have protection as they move about. You can assume those are actual people that they matter either for their fame, because this is Dawn Metropolis, they could just be famous or musically talented or run a big business, or they could be connected with the government. But you can tell who matters more than just the rich being rich and the people that like have importance in town. The guards show up and watch them when they're around, or like they have actual police presence when they move about, that kind of thing.
All right, well, I'd like to, those are the sorts of people I'm looking for, and I'd like to approach whoever out of that clutch seems the most fancifully and opulently dressed.
Roll me a diplomacy to get past the guards.
19.
Alright, pretty good. You seem wealthy and you seem to be walking up to the building so the guards don't bother you. You can, like, there's still guards near you, and maybe even blocking your path, but you're walking with a close enough distance to this person that you could strike up conversation. Maybe the guards will part. You seem fancy enough that the guards aren't, like, pushing you away like they have to some of the poorer people that they obviously, like, make sure they keep a distance. You're able to pass close to the guards. So if you want to use that opportunity to do something, you may.
Yes, do they look more masculine or feminine?
In true Dawn Metropolis fashion, it's very hard to tell. I think there's a lot more gender fluidity in this town than in most other towns.
The only thing that I like about the Darling, to the opulently dressed person, I would like to call out and say, "Excuse me, may I have a moment of your time, please?"
With a diplomacy, you can ask anything you like.
Natural 20.
This person will talk to you. Guards still around, looking tough, but
My exotic accent.
you're dressed fine enough. Like I said, you got that fat sack of coin on your side. They'll stop and talk to you, no problem.
I would like to bow respectfully and say, to whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
A whim away. A whim away. A whim away. A whim away. A whim away.
Salutations to you on this fine day, Wu-Wei. My name is Lord Vic von Claude, and I represent a group of charitable-minded folks, the Five Horsemen Society. I need inside information from the highest echelons who I might be able to contact for engaging in public works for the good of the city. Which I believe is a big old love check for me.
Yeah, it's definitely a bluff check. I was rolling to see if they had heard of the Horseman band, because you guys have performed as a band before. But I rolled so low, they have not heard of your band name. So yeah, roll that bluff to lie.
5 bluff.
Very good bluff. This all seems like a good lie. You're well dressed. There's no reason for this person to doubt you yet. They don't speak, but they seem wrapped in attention at what you're saying. They don't know what you've approached them for, but they seem caught up in your approach. Like I think they've been pitched to before.
Wondering if you might, with your obvious connections and your refined bearing, be able to direct me to someone who I might speak to about my coteries, concerns, and plans for charitable action within the city.
Diplomacy.
16.
So hero point.
Plus 8. I got a 28 diplomacy.
A Wimaway will say they're just a talent agent in town pitching some new talent, but there's a lot of high rollers, of course, at the bar upstairs, well connected with this enterprise you're looking for. They also, but unless you own a place here, you of course can't get in or are a guest, so they're not willing to do that for you. But there's also several of them. If you went down to government offices, you could possibly meet them if you grease the right palms. Or a lot of them are involved in artifact collecting. So if you're in that crowd, apparently that's a big thing here in town. So if you have something valuable or rare to sell off, they can put you in contact with the dealer, and then maybe you can meet them at one of those auctions. That's always a possibility.
I would definitely take the name of the dealer if you have the name and address of one, if you would be so kind as to provide it.
Yeah, they'll give you the address for an auction house here in town. The deals, especially proper licensing and all that stuff. But they'll send you to one of those houses. The Riggin House. Riggin Auction House. It's in the northeast part of town. Rare objects, acquiring and selling them. They can put you in contact with people looking for rare items if you have something someone's looking for. Maybe they have a client list you could get a peek at if you have something worth selling.
I have several somethings worth selling. I have a collector of sorts, although perhaps not a sanctioned one at this moment.
Anything bardic?
Perhaps worthy of a song, maybe not bardic inherently.
Yeah, well, he's always looking for something with bardic magic for his groups. A lot of people frown on it. It's illegal in some places, but you can get licensed to use it on stage for, if once your acts are big enough. It's a great way to sell a show if you can do something cool on stage, pyrotechnics and such. So if you have anything for stage magic, they're always looking for that. Wimway is always looking for stage magic.
It's interesting. I have a worker who may be able to provide some. So long as we frame it as a trap, because he is sort of obsessed with it.
Look, whatever you have to do to coerce your workers to do things, that's fine. You can set up a cool stage show. Wimaway is paying for that kind of magic and other services, so make more money.
Most efficacious that I made a major acquaintance on.
Yeah, pleasure talking to you.
Must I say, what the fine coiffage you have.
Flattered, of course. Got it done here in town.
Yes.
You want the name of their coiffeur?
Might as well, although I do not have quite so much gift in that area.
Just looking here, but obviously there's wigs available as well, so maybe you can. There's Debra, the wig maker.
Yes, Debra.
Be surprised to find out a Weemaway will lift up their wig and reveal that they're also balding up top, and everywhere else, alopecia maybe pulls off an eyelash and etc. So you can get all these things made for you at Debra's right here in town. And then they ask if you look like you're heading towards the door, the Yellow Snake. You know, you heading in?
Not this time. I am awaiting fund
Tis a shame.
from Arabane so I can secure lodging.
Well, if you, like I said, find some way to maybe figure out some stage magic for one of my acts, maybe we can work into getting you a guest pass up there to sit and talk business arrangements.
Nothing would make me happier.
Goon, day 2 with your Goon Squad.
I like that too. Okay.
The Goonies.
Yeah, the Goonies. Goonies never say die.
We probably managed to get fairly significant amounts of poop. We probably came back up. We probably didn't go very deep into the tunnels. Because, I mean,
And the rat folk know the train schedules and know how to sneak around the tunnels, so you guys get back without any incident. So Lilith's in the tent city, so you might even be around Lilith if you want that night, the first night that you sleep in town. So if you want to say hi to Lilith, you can before you go do stuff day 2.
Yeah, I'd like to set up the niter beds, basically just a even pile of poop, and I'd like to set some of those up.
In a tent?
With help. No, outside.
It's outside in the tent city. You want to put it on the reservoir side or the side closer to Jolly Metropolis? East or west, I guess. I guess there's also north and south, but north's near a forest, south is near the Assassin's Road.
Roll perception to see Goon, maybe?
Walking around with poop stacks?
19.
Yeah, you can be, like I said, you can be in the same area as Goon the morning of day 2, and you guys are both still in the tent city. You can see Goon walk around with stacks of poop, taking them out of the tents and stacking them up somewhere.
Yeah,
if you want to go
just
inquire.
I'll be like, hey, make sure you keep your poop away from the flow of fresh water, please.
Bummer.
Good is gonna say, absolutely, of course. I would never accidentally poison a water supply.
Meanwhile, Urgathoa frowns on Lilith for not getting everyone sick with poop water.
No, I have a grand scheme. No, Urgathoa gets it. She knows what's like. I'll be praying to her in the evening. And
As long as you have a long-term plan, Urgathoa's not mad. As long as your god knows your plans, no harsh feelings.
I'm going to set up the Dudu farms in the direction of Assassin's Road.
South.
Because the people who traverse that sound like they are forgiving people who will understand.
So between the tent city and the Assassin's Road are now just big old piles of poop stacks, poop mountains, or at least the beginnings of poop molehills currently. But when the wind blows the right way, it'll stink on the road.
They will need to be watered with the appropriate fluids.
Is it anything other than salt water? Because the only thing they have easy access to is salt water. If there's anything else, it might take some acquiring.
No, salt water would not do. It has to be urine.
Oh, well, they can piss on stuff. That's if you want to leave a couple of guys here, or like tell people to just piss on this pile. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Ratfolk are always looking for places to piss besides their piss rivers in the middle of their city. So
yeah, it's right by their latrine. They're going to keep that away from the running water either way. So.
Yeah.
If you want to instruct people in town to start pissing here, they might, with a diplomacy, they might follow your instructions. Or intimidation, whichever you have better at.
Yes, I absolutely would like to convince...
Everyone piss over here now. Roll me a diplomacy or intimidation to get everyone to piss over there now.
I rolled an 18.
I rolled 19 on diplomacy as well to help him out.
You're around, and together you can convince 2 different large groups of rat folks to all piss over there today. So at least for one day, you got a group of people pissing over there.
And then, it's back to the tunnels for more poop.
Back to the grindstone. You take your students back down there with you.
Yes.
Time for another lesson in collecting poop.
Yes, and I'd like to talk about how a process that they will be learning is vastly cruder than the proper way to make fancy explosives like dynamite. That this will be down and dirty explosives lesson.
Yeah, dirty bomb.
Yes, a dirty bomb. I'd also like not to do knowledge local if there's a soap maker in the metropolis.
Yeah, roll knowledge local, and I'll tell you if there is.
Oh, you're going Fight Club on this shit. I love it.
16.
Soap is not a big thing in Metropolis since Jim Darling vowed against it on their last tour. There's a couple anti-bathing songs throughout their career. They're like, you shouldn't only wash your hair but once every 2 months kind of a thing as part of the Jim Darling aesthetic. So soap is kind of hard to come by. There are some artisans, but they're few and far between. They don't sell a whole lot. When they do, it's usually Jim Darling themed soap, since for tourists who don't know any better. You're probably more likely to find it somewhere else. Even Ratfolk might make it here in Ratfolk Town. So a lot of Ratfolk are pretty clean, actually. Even though they live in tents and piss in rivers in the street, they do like to wash up.
I would like to know if the rat folk make soap.
Knowledge local.
Yeah. If you don't, then I'll have to make my own. 14.
There are one or two rat folk with the knowledge, but don't have the supplies. It's something that's been passed down. They could do it if they had the stuff to do it, but because it's not popular in the Dark Metropolis, occasionally they do liquid bubbles for kids to play in and to wash up in, but making actual lye soap and stuff, which I know is what you're looking for. Just to come across the ingredients is hard for them, so they don't usually get a chance. They know how to make it, but just don't have access to raw materials. Although also, as you've heard before, Perleone, you could probably get that there. Whatever you're looking for, you can get in Perleone, because all you gotta do is ask for it and they'll find it. So that's the advice. That's the advice you get. So, when they've made it in the past, that's where they got stuff from.
I don't want to go to Crime City.
Especially not alone, probably.
Yeah, I might see if there's any lye in an alchemy shop or
It's possible.
something else like that.
It's not very likely. I rolled very low, but you can roll knowledge local to ask around for it. If you roll high, I'll have a guy say he can get it, but it might be expensive, or you might have to wait some time for it.
Yeah, I will ask around, and I got a 10.
There's a list of things you're not supposed to sell, and you're the things you're asking for are on that list. So they don't seem to want to deal with you, and they can't seem to give you access to this kind of stuff without special paperwork or something else.
Yeah, well then, I guess it's back to the poop grind.
Back to the poop grind. You go back and meet your students and head underground, and you'll spend the next day doing a poop collection. So Rain and Iggy, day 2 for you guys hanging out. Iggy kind of clung to your back yesterday like a Yoda backpack, followed on your adventures. So with perception checks, you could also possibly run into the other folks that were just around in Ratfolk Village if you want to, but if not, you can just go on with your day with your workers.
We're going to go, how far are we on that? If we...
You did 1 day's worth of work.
Let's keep going. Because I hired a crew and we're only doing a little floor. Theoretically speaking. I'm also going to get a crew to work on the lower floor.
So you want to hire some more people and do some simultaneous work?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So Iggy, would you mind? I'm gonna write Iggy. Would you mind watching the middle floor? I'll watch the lower floor.
That makes
the lower floor work.
Yeah.
No problem. Yeah, for sure. Got it.
Alright, so you guys each supervise your own section of workers.
Yeah,
Are you giving a starting bonus to this new group of workers there, Rain?
Yep.
Alright, so how much starting bonus are you giving? And I assume you're sticking to the 1 day a gold rate per worker on top of that?
Yeah, so it's 60 and then another 300, I guess.
Iggy will supervise one. You'll supervise the lower ones, right? Because that's where there's more danger. So you'll watch over them. Let me roll, see if anything happens to either one of your guys' groups, but if not, you'll be fine. For Iggy's group, I rolled really high. But you guys are where there's less wildlife, so it's not bats or sea serpent or anything. It's just going to be an environmental hazard, which for where you guys are is going to be cave-in. So you guys must have done some tunnel building wrong. You smashed a wall wrong, falling rocks or falling slicks, so it's just falling on you guys now. So reflex save for you, and then I'll see how well your group does. Rain, your group below might hear this collapse, and someone above might hear it, because it's loud. So it's just like an avalanche.
I got a natural 1.
Oh, so Iggy, some rocks are going to fall on you, so you're about to take some down.
Well, no, he just doesn't hear anything. Don't make it...
No, he's there. He's in the area where rocks are falling. Rocks are falling on him. Rain's the one that either hears it or doesn't hear it, and I just let him hear it because it's loud.
Level below.
Yeah, that's why he just hears it. This group where Iggy is where the rocks are falling. I rolled 12 damage on Iggy. I also rolled the same amount of damage on 3 of your workers, which puts them 3 points away from being unconscious. How are you doing? You still up? But you guys took some hits from some rocks falling on you. At least a couple of you, handful, from that cave-in.
I'll give them 5 gold each.
For injuries?
Yeah.
Pain and suffering? Yeah, that's nice. Roll diplomacy with that and see how helpful that is.
18.
It's just a flesh wound. Let's still walk it off. They keep working. Yeah, they play through the pain. Well, this concussion, this is my 3rd concussion. I'm fine. So yeah, you guys keep working through this cave-in. Down below, you might have heard some noise there, Rain. So everything down there is going fine besides that loud noise you heard. You're able to scare off the bats with a torch and work. You guys are sort of down in that Ratfolk City area now, so there's not a whole lot to do except pile shit up to sort of make a funnel. So you guys are smashing Ratfolk history to make a debris tunnel.
Boom!
They're all playing along because they're young and they don't know their Ratfolk history because they've never been down here before.
Brain is satisfied by the chaos.
You hear a loud noise from above. Do you want to? I mean, you just hear it. Do you want to do anything about it?
No.
I'll roll to see if anyone above heard it. I rolled pretty low, so there might be some noise, like up in the subway area. Someone might have heard like a loud gagoon, but like they would just assume it's ignorable. It wasn't something that drew too much. It wasn't an explosion. This sounded like a natural cave-in noise. So you guys will work through another day. At the end of that day, do you head back into Ratfolk Town to rest again? I assume.
I mean, there's no reason not.
Take the workers back home. Make sure they're treated well. Let's go back to your actual bed in a tent. That's slightly better than sleeping down in a cave. Unless you guys bring sleeping supplies down in the caves, then you never have to leave. Something to think about in the future to avoid this. But for now, you go back up to Tent City. Yeah, that's true. I guess it's just time. You just wake up in the cave and start working. Because you guys are spending a couple hours traveling back and forth every day, but it's negligible because we spam it. You guys will go back into town, sleep up. And you guys will be near each other, of course, so you can regroup at night or in the morning if you would like to. Back to Vic Von Claude, living it up. Luckily, you're distracting Goon with this very large trap. He's like, usually he'd be fucking shit up right now. He'd be like fucking you guys up left and right. You'd be tripping on stuff, falling face down into pies, but no, he's distracted by this very large trap. It's a 2-week-long trap, so Goon's distracted. All your other workers are distracted. Have you been staying in town, sleeping in town, I assume? Not sleeping in the Ratfolk village among the poors? Kick Tim out, sleep in Tim's room while doing cocaine alone at night? Like that stuff?
No, I mean, does Tim eat crackers in bed?
Only if you ask him to.
Well, then no, he can stay.
Yeah. You and Tim become fast friends. Couple bumps together. It's that kind of religion. He's cool. You guys party. And of course, it's party every night. The Orgothoan Temple, so there's always buffet food there for you and drinks. And usually old tourists, but tourists that want to get down if you want to get frisky at any point in time with your collection of lambskin condoms. What do you do on day 3?
Find my way down to a government office.
Go down to the government center. You can do that. That's not a problem. Those are easy to find. They're well marked, of course. Then, yeah, you can go down to like a licensing office or something. Is that kind of thing you're looking for? Or?
Yeah, like a surveying office, I guess.
Yeah.
Or planning.
Not a problem. They're a city. They got planning offices. Yeah, of course you're gonna. If you go inside, you're gonna encounter, secretarial. You're not gonna go run right into someone important first. You're gonna deal with the administrative wing, fill out some paperwork, talk to someone, grease some palms. What do you need? What do you want? Are we looking for a form? Looking to do something they can help you out with? They're getting paid to be here, so.
So who is the executive in charge of this office, and who do they submit their plans to?
They call their boss Jamoke. They report to the Darling family. And here in the Southeast District, that is Anthony Darling, colloquially known as Tony. Tony Darling. They'll just let you know that's who their boss is, and they can help you fill out the proper paperwork, whatever you're trying to do, they can help you. Tell you what the fees are, show you the proper paperwork.
You need to submit an incredibly expedited form to submit for a charitable public works project in the underground.
Charitable Public Works. And what charity do you represent?
The Five Horsemen Society.
Never heard of this, but they'll bring you the paperwork to fill out that you could submit. Of course, submitting the paperwork is an 1,000 gold fee. You are a charitable organization, that's probably also already filed. But if not, there's 100 gold file and some paperwork you have to fill out if you want to file as a charitable organization, a non-profit.
Okay, I have 1,000 here with me. In the interest of getting these forms filled out, I also have a letter of credit here that establishes my line. So I would like to just submit these papers, come back with the difference, and then for your time and understanding when it comes to expediting this form as much as you can, a gift for you. I want us to have a good relationship, you and I, because you know things that I don't, and I have money that could definitely buy you nice things.
Diplomacy.
42 diplomacy.
Sounds nice enough to this person. We'll call him Peck.
Say, Peck, mon petit chouchou. If you'll allow me to pop to the bank, get the difference that I owe for the official forms, and then 500 for you to put this at the top of the stack. Make sure that it gets to who it needs to get to very quickly.
Diplomacy.
17.
You can return within 24 hours with that amount.
Peck, my little sunflower. I will return within hours.
Excellent.
I hope that...
Hopefully we can help you out with this charitable action.
Exactly.
Anything that's good for the city, I'm sure Tony will be excited about. The city's in need of lots of improvements.
I hope that it can be good for you as well.
We're always looking for more benefactors to benefit the southeastern part of the Darling Metropolis. For Tony's glory.
Do you have a family, Beck?
Of course.
Well, I'm a wealthy benefactor of many, So perhaps they can see that benefit as well. And I wink.
Diplomacy with your wink.
15.
That gets it.
Fantastic. Then I'm off to the bank to do exactly as I said.
On your way to the bank, you are accosted in a large crowd by a sneak thief and his two accomplices. So roll perception check to see if you notice. So they bumped you, hassle you. See if you notice your coin purse being lifted. Although I think you spent all your coin already. So
I did. 19 perception.
All right, you'll catch them fondling you, trying to see if you got something on you worth any money. So you'll catch them feeling you up.
And I grab them real quick.
You can grab at least one of them with a CMB.
15 CMB.
That's enough to grab one of them just barely. They're about to slip out of your hand. They've got tiny wrists and they're like about to get out of your grasp, but you've got them like right now. You can feel them wriggling now.
You think that you can steal from the great Vic Von Claude? I'm going to give you an ass kicking you never forget. A large person on myself.
All right, you hulk out. We roll perception for the guard to see you using magic. I rolled really low, so somehow no one notices you growing in size. At least none of the guards. I rolled a 12. Roll me a stealth, I guess, but you'd have to really fuck up to not beat a 12.
I rolled a 12.
Someone might notice you getting larger, but like I said, until you start smashing things, maybe it's not a big deal. Like, they might even question if they saw it.
Trap the foot of the guy I have grappled, or the guy I have gripped with my massive one. Get all up in his face and say, "Give me one good reason why I should punch you into pulp right now, little man."
Roll me a CMB to hold him down with your foot, and then intimidation with that.
Alright, I got a 21 CMB.
To hold this little punk kid.
And my intimidation, is a 19.
Very intimidated. He begs for forgiveness and swears he could help you.
Like, oh yeah? How can you do that? Make yourself useful to me. I won't break every bone in your body.
Anything you ask.
Anything.
I owe you my life if you spare it.
Alright, you and your friends, you work for me. I give them the address for the Temple of Urgatho and say, meet me here at the 6th bell this evening. I'll have money for all of you. You don't have to steal from me ever again. Got it?
Seems like a better deal than getting beat up in the street by this really large bald guy.
Yeah, no shit. Later.
Meanwhile, Lilith. Day 3. Day 3 in the Rat City for Lilith. You wake up with your crew, ready for another day of ditch digging.
I oversee the digging of said ditches.
And you give them their all 1 gold for their day's work at the end of the day.
Yep.
I roll to see if anything crazy happens. Oh, I rolled really high. The weather's really bad, so it's like raining really hard that day, so it's like muddy, and they're like digging the holes, but it keeps going back in. So it's like seems like it might delay your progress. They're working really hard, but it's rainy and shitty out in the area where the trench is. So you guys are having a tough day digging. You still make some progress. It's just muddy and hard. It may slow you down a little bit unless you do something to increase productivity.
Can I roll a
to stop that?
perception? I just want to find like the best 2 workers. Basically, that's gonna only be 15.
And it's hard because they seem to be working at about the same pace, speed, and strength. I mean, they're all like just teenage fucking rat folk digging a ditch. So you can tell they don't really want to be here. It's raining. It sucks. There might be 1 or 2 that are like complaining less than the rest. If you want to like look for like maybe that, like the least pissy ones.
Someone who works hard and is a little bit compliant. I'm gonna bring the 2 of them to dinner and give my Ratful family an extra gold to make a nice dinner for all of us. That's not just balls of rice.
You can do that. They can either go spend that donation. They can go donate some money for some wolf dogs or fish fritter fingers. Or
let's do the fingers. Yeah,
fingers?
apparently that's
That's a whole thing now. They're diplomatically designed.
Fingers for everyone, and I want to talk to the 2 people that I bring with me to help kind of keep things moving along, and I would like for them to still help out and dig every now and then, but they are much more in a management capacity.
Inspired to motivate their fellow workers. You're increasing their pay or something, or
they get an extra gold per day.
So starting tomorrow, you'll start paying them a little extra.
Is there anyone nearby me in the Rat City that I can hang out with?
Yes, either in the morning or the evening you can catch up with anyone else that's in the Rat Folk City, so everyone except Vic Von Claude you could possibly cross paths with a perception check at some point in the day.
Alright, cool.
As long as they return, as long as they also return to town. In the morning, definitely, because they all went to town last night. In the evening, possibly, as long as they return to town after their activities.
I'll try to make sure that I'm in the most public area, so that I can hopefully run into my...
I mean, since everyone here is Rat Folk except you guys, you stand out. out. I mean, Good might be the hardest one to spot because he's short, and Iggy, I guess, would be hard to spot because he's short, but he's with Rain, who's very large. And all of you guys look different than Rat Folk, so you all stand out some.
I'll hang out at the Ratfolk party spot, or, not really inn or tavern, but whatever the closest thing to that is.
I mean, if you know that they're working down the tunnels, they're probably coming out of that secret entrance from the city. You can hang out near that area, so if they emerge from their work, you can catch them if you're trying to catch them in the evening.
Sounds good to me.
Iggy and Rain, you wake up in the Ratfolk City, ready for day 3. Out of 14, oh, this is going to be torture, guys.
Tune in next time for more Constant Chronicle Bad Egg. This episode of Long Distance Dungeons & Dragons Dinner Theater was sponsored by our fans and friends on Patreon. Donate today. Keep Long Distance Dungeons & Dragons Dinner Theater alive.